Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Hello and welcome to WrestleRamble episode 15. I'm Oli Davis, this is Luke Owen, and today we'll be talking about the rumoured matches for what could have been WrestleMania 33. We'll be fantasy booking Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles in the latest fantasy booking warfare, and we'll be talking about Vince McMahon's big fiery balls. If you want to go to any of those discussions right away, click the timestamps in the video description below, or stay right here for some WrestleMania 33 what could have been chat. So, This is a report from a couple of weeks ago, and it was that originally, probably up until, January, December time, WrestleMania 33 was a completely different show, particularly on the SmackDown side of things. And it was because you had Undertaker versus John Cena, which was definitely the plan up until SmackDown 900. Well, Undertaker came back. I'm going to dig some holes. I'm going to take me some souls.
Yep.
And AJ Styles was heel at that point. So this is how I imagine it would have gone. Because the original plan was for AJ Styles to then face Undertaker at Royal Rumble to win the belt.
For Undertaker to win the belt.
For Undertaker to win the belt from AJ Styles, John Cena would, let me see, I've got the, but then AJ would win it back at Elimination Chamber because John Cena costs the Undertaker the belt, and that's how you set up John Cena versus the Undertaker at WrestleMania 33.
But for the WWE Championship?
No, Styles would have the WWE Championship.
Okay, right, so, okay, so I'm with you now.
You got that. It is convoluted. This is like 6 months of booking.
Oh, but it would have been great though, man, because we could have then seen Undertaker AJ. I mean, I know Undertaker wasn't in like his best shape. He could barely walk. He struggled to do the Rumble, if anything, really. But man, that'd have been awesome because when Undertaker can go, and he's driven, he can go. And
that's the Royal Rumble was in Houston, wasn't it? It was in Texas, Undertaker's hometown.
So, that'd have been so much
Parts
better.
unknown Texas.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been so awesome. And then you'd have had Undertaker Cena at WrestleMania, which would have been an infinitely better match.
And the other plans were that Randy Orton was going to turn on Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family in the Rumble match.
Oh, that'd have been awesome, yeah.
So that would have, that kind of makes sense for what but they prolonged it with Luke Harper.
Yeah, because that turn really didn't work. Really didn't work for my money. It was so rushed. To get to
Orton's
turn.
Yeah.
To get to Mania, that turn was so rushed. And because of that now, Luke Harper's he's in no man's land. So it's a real shame.
Well, the idea was then Orton and Bray Wyatt would have the blow-off match at Elimination Chamber. So that would be the end to their big long-running feud. Randy Orton was always going to win the Royal Rumble because he was beaten in the head by Brock Lesnar. That was essentially
his reward.
Sorry about that. But you can win the Rumble. So I guess it would have been Randy Orton versus AJ Styles for WrestleMania.
Yeah, that'd have been great.
It would have been great. I mean, we did get that matchup a couple of weeks before on SmackDown when they were still going back and forth over who the number one contender.
Yeah, well, this is what I mean. It's because it got really muddy. Yeah. It just got really muddy storytelling.
It was just trying to prolong a storyline by tinkering it in different places. Yeah. And that great spot, I still think about it because there's a lot of thought gone into that match where AJ Styles is going to do the phenomenal forearm. We're all waiting for it. He hops up. Randy Orton goes for the RKO from out of somewhere because AJ Styles then hops back down. He's like, nope, didn't get me this time, mate.
Saw that coming, mate.
That was
so good.
That's storytelling. That's really good.
Yeah.
And do you want to do the last one?
And then this last point was that Daniel Bryan would have answered the Miz's open challenge for the IC title by using Shinsuke Nakamura as his avatar, essentially. And that would be the way to debut...
A blue person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
big blue giant blue person.
Cat person, yeah. And that would have been the way to debut Nakamura on the main roster and have him at WrestleMania.
I see you. Is how you say I love you to someone in Avatar language. Navi, isn't it?
Yeah.
They say I see you.
So like, basically, that is...
Run over my Avatar chat, sure.
Because no one cares about Avatar, mate. That is a incredible WrestleMania card, really.
A bit more on the Daniel Bryan Miz thing. It is like when Miz was drafted to Raw, there was no blow off to that really long running Daniel Bryan Miz tension.
No.
And that would have been a really good way to blow off that feud, and it's coming heat transference.
Yep.
All of that Daniel Bryan energy suddenly goes into Shinsuke Nakamura, and Shinsuke Nakamura is cool anyway, and he becomes the new Intercontinental Champion on his first night at WrestleMania 33, beating The Miz, I would assume.
Yep.
Hell of a debut.
As
a star-making debut.
So
now he's going to face Dolph Ziggler at Backlash.
as the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura. So the payoff to all this, the payoff to this chat, this rambly chat.
You never press the timer start.
The payoff to this chat is that Kevin Dunn messed it all up.
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
who is to blame here?
Well, is it Kevin Dunn for
Kevin.
suggesting the idea, or is it Vince McMahon for not letting go of the idea?
It's Kevin
At the
Dunn.
end of the day, everything comes down to Vince McMahon. He's the guy that says, this is a good idea, that's a bad idea.
Yep.
To a micromanaging degree, apparently. Obviously don't work.
Okay, but if you've got that plan, then why would you suggest a plan that's worse?
Because Kevin Dunn
is an idiot.
I mean, I think I disagree with that, because
I'm being harsh.
what was the main mainstream news coming out of WrestleMania 33?
Exactly.
John Cena and Nikki Bella's proposal.
Disagree. And what I will say of a WrestleMania that lacked WrestleMania moments, that was a WrestleMania moment.
And for wrestling fans, of which we are both,
Are we?
yeah. How many of these T-shirts are yours?
2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, some aren't mine either. I just find them places lying around the studio. But it's easy to forget in our little bubble that actually, for wrestling to become super popular and break into the mainstream again, you need stuff like this, and you need your Mike Tysons.
Yeah,
and you need your celebrity involvement.
I get all that, but what I would say is that coming off the back of WrestleMania, we've had a couple of Raws and SmackDowns with some of its lowest ratings ever, so I can't say that it worked, considering as well that neither of them have been on TV since WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's not as if like that moment there was designed to make people then watch more wrestling, because that's not worked.
But neither would John Cena or Undertaker.
No. It might have done, but it wouldn't have done.
If the argument is they're both leaving afterwards. So if anything, The Undertaker feuded with Roman Reigns in the end. We watched it, we know. And John Cena feuded with The Miz.
Yeah.
And those two, you're effectively having part-timers working with full-timers, and that's what we keep saying about getting the new card over.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have the interaction between the two. You can't just have Goldberg and Brock Lesnar's and these dream matches, because they don't build the next generation.
What I will say, though, is that I think that John Cena versus The Undertaker is a more marquee match than Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. I think that AJ Styles versus Randy Orton is more of a marquee match than AJ versus Shane, but I'm not sure about that one, because Shane does. Yeah, okay. So I might go back on that one.
Shall we go through what I think the card would have been had Kev? Oh, so to tell the story, Kevin Dunn, apparently, this is a Sports Skeeter report, I think, and they actually, to be fair, they reported this before anyone else did, because I remember I read it and I was like, no way that's true. This guy Bill Batty, I think his name is Billy Batty, who writes for Sports Skeeter, and at the time Sports Skeeter they were a bit hit and miss with what came true, and they said, oh, just wait and see what they've got in plan for John Cena at WrestleMania, and everyone was like, well, it's The Undertaker. We all know it's The Undertaker. That's what Dave Meltzer's been reporting forever. And then, like, the day after, they said it's a mixed tag. And I was like, no way. It's not going to be The Miz and Maurice and Cena versus Taker.
Yeah.
And then within 3 days, Meltzer's going, actually, I've asked, and that's true.
That's true,
and then that's what we ended up getting. So that they recently said that Kevin Dunn had pitched the idea to Vince McMahon of Nikki Bella and John Cena getting the proposal. John Cena didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. He wanted to face The Undertaker, but Vince was just like, please, please, please. And then Cena was like, okay, I'll do it for you, crazy old man. And Vince is like, for your pay, as a payoff, as an exchange, because you don't get to face The Undertaker anymore, you get to win your 16th world title at Royal Rumble.
Well, that worked out well for him, didn't it? Because he had it for a couple of weeks.
wrestlers can't be that stupid to think, oh, well, I've got a 16th world title now. Sure, you want it to mean something.
Yeah,
you just
totally.
don't want a stat.
No.
And that's like your record fictional time with Ric Flair.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hulk Hogan famously once said on TNA, these are fake men fighting over fake belts. Who cares?
We
He
care.
genuinely said that
We
on
care.
TNA once.
Maybe he was working us. Was he a heel at the time?
No, it was when they went through this period. It was when Hogan and Bischoff first came in, and they went through this period where they were doing like these. It was like it was a show after Impact, and it was like this behind the scenes real life thing they were doing.
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was when he was just like, yeah, I mean, they're just fake belts. Like you've won 13 of them. Who cares? I'm like, funny enough, you care because that was your entire WCW career.
So I'll run through what it seems we could have gotten for WrestleMania 33. Great English. So pretty much the Raw matches don't change. They're unaffected by this, apart from where does Roman Reigns go. The other thing, Big Show versus Shaq. That was the only Raw match that was dropped. But otherwise, your Seth Rollins versus Triple H, Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, Owens versus Jericho. Those have been in the works forever.
Yeah.
And then you have the Hardy Boys return, which was a last minute, a month in the making thing. And Charlotte, Nia, Bayley, Sasha, they were always going to do that, whatever. That was always quite far in advance planned. But on the SmackDown side of things, could have had John Cena versus Undertaker. We would have had AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, it seems, and Shinsuke Nakamura with Daniel Bryan in his corner versus The Miz. So, where does that leave Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, Shane McMahon, and of course you've got Braun Strowman, who was put in.
I think they would have done Roman Braun at
I
WrestleMania.
agree,
But they wouldn't have done it at the pay-per-view beforehand, or they might have done like the first match there, but it was set up to be a match, but it turned into nothing but a brawl, and so it wasn't actually a match. They just brawled throughout the building, and that sets up the match for Mania.
The Reigns and Rusev did that, didn't they? For the US belt last year.
So then you have Reigns versus Strowman, which probably would have been the main event.
No,
No, it wouldn't have been. No,
I wonder. No, because Taker was
retiring.
It would have been
so
Cena Taker.
It would have been Cena Taker. A much better main event.
It
And
would have been.
I like Roman Reigns.
It would have been. You're right. You're right. Shane McMahon, though, he is the peg that's left out because he's definitely going to have a match.
He's a key man.
Bray Wyatt is no longer with Randy Orton. Those are the only two leftover components I can see. Bray Wyatt and Shane McMahon.
Yeah, then you could do the thing where like Bray blames Shane
That's what I thought,
for whatever, and you do a match with them, which would have been been good fun.
Yeah, I mean, you could have gimmicked the hell out of it,
Yeah.
which would have done Shane more favours without AJ Styles to compensate for the lack of wrestling
Absolutely,
ability.
yeah, and you probably wouldn't have done
The
Worms.
projections,
And we
yes.
probably wouldn't have had the House of Horrors, which means we wouldn't have had the scary tractor. So, there are some lights to be taken from this change.
I want the scary tractor.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Oh, good,
That's
good,
what I mean.
good.
You've got to take those silver linings, mate. We've got a scary tractor.
So you've got to have one or the other. The original plans or the plans we got. You can't chop and change. Which would you have preferred out of the two?
Original plans.
You would have gone, really?
100%. I get
Yeah,
what
I
you're
guess-
saying. You are completely right that the proposal was the one that did get all the mainstream buzz, but the problem is that mainstream buzz has meant absolutely nothing for the company in the long run. So, with the benefit of hindsight, the original plan was much better. And as you said on the last video, you're a fan of wrestling, and those matches there look to me like better wrestling matches.
I don't know. I don't think anyone could have got more out of The Undertaker.
John Cena could have got the more out of the Undertaker.
You reckon?
Yeah, absolutely.
But do you want John Cena to be the guy to retire The Undertaker, working on the assumption that this is The Undertaker's last match?
I mean, well, do you know what? It would have gotten over just as much as Roman Reigns beating him.
Hey.
And let's be honest here. Sorry, I will let you talk.
You go.
Let's be honest here. No matter who beat the Undertaker, it was never going to be the right guy because it's the Undertaker.
Sure.
Retiring at WrestleMania, like there's never the right person to do that.
Not even fake Undertaker.
Not even Big Daddy Diesel.
So
Who was it?
what if
Who was
Reigns?
fake Undertaker?
What if Reigns beat Undertaker and turned heel?
Yeah, that was never going to happen, there was it?
But just okay, we're getting into hypotheticals now. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough because we still would have got the Hardy Boys return. We still would have got Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, and we still would have gotten the Undertaker's retirement. The only thing you're really getting out is you're exchanging the proposal for Shinsuke Nakamura versus The Miz and John Cena versus. I actually agree.
Yeah.
I think I would have preferred the original plans. Goodness gracious, Luke. Great balls of fire. Great, massive, veiny, steamy, sweaty, fiery balls of fire. In your face, Luke. In your face, these balls are going to be in your... Brock Lesnar's balls are going to be in your face. Fire, and they're great.
Are you done?
No.
I could not believe my eyes when I woke up on Saturday morning and I went to look at the news and there was Brock Lesnar announced for WWE Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah.
And I went, wait, what? My first initial reaction was, oh, it's a pay-per-view, it's a network special, like the Beast from the East or that other one they did in Canada. It's just a network special thing. Doesn't really matter. Until then, I was like, oh, that's a pay-per-view name.
Yeah.
That's something they're hoping people will buy as a pay-per-view. Oh, and then I sent you a message saying that it's got to be the worst pay-per-view name in history. And that's a proper Michael Cole thing. But I genuinely mean it. This has to be the worst pay-per-view name in the history of wrestling. And bearing in mind, a lot of people have brought up some, TNA's Hard Justice, which sounds like a gay porno, or Bound for Glory for that matter,
movie.
or Hardcore Justice for that matter.
Good.
Also great, great movie. But Big Dick Dudley was in it. But this is the worst pay-per-view name in the history of professional wrestling.
Worse than Over the Limit.
Yes.
Capital Punishment.
Worse than Bragging Rights.
Fatal 4-Way.
That's just a match.
But it was the name of a pay-per-view.
It was the name of a match, yeah. But the Fatal 4-Way, for me, is not like one of the more egregious...
In Your House?
In Your House was fine because...
There's kind of nostalgia to it.
Well, not only that, but it was done for a reason because it was set up to be in your house. They had a big house set.
This could have giant balls of fire.
It better had. This is...
If there's a time to change up a B-level set, a B pay-per-view level set, not just your WrestleMania or SummerSlam, 2 hunking balls of fire.
There's a long-standing joke amongst internet wrestling fans.
I can't hold it. I love it.
There is a long-standing joke that Vince McMahon is losing his mind. And I am a defender of Vince. I'm like, he's not losing his mind. He's still the smartest mind in the business. He still knows more or less what he wants to do. He's stubborn. Absolutely, he's stubborn, but he does know what he's doing. And then they announce Great Balls of Fire, and I'm like, nope, I think he's lost his mind. I think he is legitimately losing his mind if he thinks that this is a great name for a pay-per-view that people will want to watch.
Yeah, I had this exact same conversation with WCPW commentator Dave Bradshaw. There's my name, just dropped a name there when I was talking to him yesterday. And he said that I think Vince has lost his mind. And I said, if he has, someone suggested that pay-per-view name for him, and I quote this scene in Dilbert. Do you remember the Dilbert
I do
cartoon?
Remember Dilbert with his tie.
Yeah, and he was talking about he would take a list of names. And he would have for a new product, and he would have the name he wanted for the product, and then he would have loads of really terrible names. And then he would take that to his boss, and his boss would go, I'll go for that one, because it's the best of the bunch.
Yeah.
I think one of the WWE writers did that, and Vince McMahon chose one of the really bad names on that list. No ways, he's not going to choose Great Balls of Fire. We're safe here. He's going to call it, I don't know, Capital Punishment 2.
Yeah.
And he's get stuck with it.
Oh, dearie me. The other thing as well, I know you've got your gimmick to bring out here. There will be a DVD release of this pay-per-view.
I'm buying it.
And it will be, we run a movie website that gives away these DVDs as, giveaway, as competitions.
Yeah.
We will have to do a giveaway for WWE Great Balls of Fire on DVD. It's going to be on Blu-ray in high definition.
It's... Okay, so when my initial reaction when I heard about it was, where's the kayfabe news site? This isn't real. So, and as an aside, did you see the headline of the weekend from kayfabe news?
No, I didn't see this.
Donald Trump has appointed Vince Russo to build the wall, to oversee the construction of the wall, so no one can get over.
Hey,
that's
nice.
a good headline title.
I thought they would use literally the wall. Do you remember the WCW wrestler The Wall?
I don't know.
Yeah, they had a wrestler who was just called The Wall.
What a gimmick.
Yeah, it was a great gimmick.
But so at first I thought that, and then it dawned on me, no, this is actually what they're calling it. And I went through like 2 days of disbelief, occasionally just wandering around my house going, Great Balls of Fire. And then I woke up Monday morning, and that's, that because I didn't do news over the weekend, and I was writing the script, and this was the first time for the WrestleTalk news that I could talk about Great Balls of Fire, and I was halfway through it, and I thought, I'm having so much fun with this. I love this name. This is just a treat of awful ridiculousness, kind of like the House of Horrors, but more campy.
Yeah.
Anyway, my gimmick. I've got the list of Vince, which is actually got some of the unused names.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. I'd love to hear them.
These?
I'd love to hear them.
So these are the other names that they didn't go for. So I've got Rock Around the Clock,
Okay.
which is actually a beat the clock stipulation.
Okay.
Yeah, so most of the matches would be based around that the whole night. Mm-hmm. The Dog's Yard.
Yeah.
I've got Shaken Not Stirred.
Okay.
Tag Team Turmoil.
A whole night of tag team turmoil.
Yeah, so it just starts off with one tag team in the ring, and then the whole night it's just one tag team turmoil match.
Yeah.
Tutti Frutti.
Okay.
I think that could go. Bazinga.
Yeah, that's a pop culture reference. That's on a T-shirt. In fact, it's a more relevant pop culture reference than Great Balls of Fire, a song that came out in the 1950s, I believe.
It was the 1950s.
What a guess. Man, I'm good.
A whole decade. Nailed that one.
Do you know what? My lasting memory of the song Great Balls of Fire is from a VHS copy I had of the Super Mario Bros. 3 cartoon series.
Of course it was.
And whenever they got the fire flower and they would throw the balls, it would play Goodness Gracious Great Balls of Fire. That's where I knew that song from as a kid.
Yeah.
So now I'm just going to be thinking of Super Mario 3. Not the video game, but the rather rubbish animated series.
I'm going to carry on here.
Please do.
Oh, what a night. House of Horrors?
Yeah. Oh man, a whole night of matches in the House of Horrors.
Yeah, it could just be in different rooms. It could be in theatre. You would call this promenade, and you would bring the entire 3,000 people from room to room.
Yes.
And the actors would perform in front of you.
Man, on the network you could set up like. Do you ever play the Mega CD game Night Trap? Where it was basically like it was basically a CCTV surveillance game where you could change which room you were watching.
Okay.
So if all the fights you at home could change the rooms to see which match you want to watch.
That's a good idea.
It's not.
This is the most likely one. I think this was the second. Shots fired.
Okay.
Championship opportunities.
Yes.
Just a whole night of championship opportunities.
Let's rename Night of Champions WWE Championship Opportunities.
Mamma Mia!
Oh,
that's when he comes back.
Oh, okay.
That's when Moro comes back.
I can get more with that then.
Suffering Succotash.
No, you got to suck in Suffrage, son.
Suffering Succotash, son. Over the Limit.
That's a real one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together.
Okay.
I Knew You Were Trouble When You Walked In.
Yeah.
22.
You just go through Taylor Swift songs now.
Love Story.
Are these all Taylor Swift songs?
Shake It Off.
These are Taylor Swift songs.
Bad Blood.
I was all building up to that. Very well done. That was excellent. It was all worthwhile.
So this is the second fantasy booking warfare that we've done. The first one, to explain the concept, you say book this for us, this scenario, and Luke gives a scenario, and I give my version of how it would be booked, and you vote on who you thinks is better.
Yeah.
Now the last one, do you want to explain your gripe with the first one we did?
The first one was a sham,
which was the fantasy booking the New Day breakup.
And the reason why this was a complete sham is because Oli Davis told me what the fantasy warfare we were booking about 30 minutes before. Actually, yeah, it was
a couple of hours.
It was not a couple of hours. It was okay. Actually, it did text me in the day, I suppose. He gave me about an hour and change, maybe 2 hours to book it. Whereas he'd had all week to sort it out, including a long drive. In which you essentially fantasy booked it for yourself and then had time to tweak. So I was very underprepared for it. So my fantasy booking was more or less, yeah, they break up and they just go their separate ways. And none of them do the heel turn. But you had an actual detailed plot. You didn't explain to me the concept fully.
Yeah, okay. Well, it was the first one. But the results are in.
And yet we still did a poll.
I'm surprised you got this many.
In all fairness, I was not expecting this many.
So out of 1,134 votes,
thank you very much.
I got 87% of that.
Yeah, I was amazed. I got 12%, although that math doesn't add up.
Well, I think YouTube's algorithms rounded it down a little.
Oh, okay.
Actually, how does that work? They would round it up. Maybe they rounded it both down. They must have rounded it both down.
Still doesn't match up. There's still 1% missing.
Well, yeah, they would have taken, if I got 87.5, you got 12.5, they would just round it down.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. So I won by quite a landslide. But you know what? We're not going to count that. No. Because you're just going to kick up a fuss about it. But we've got a new one. This is Fantasy Booking Warfare. What is it? Fantasy Warfare Booking. Warfare Fantasy Booking. Fantasy Booking Warfare, we'll call it. Mm-hmm. Should really know that the title card will say it.
Yeah.
This week, Aaron Jacob has got in touch. If you want to send in your scenarios for us to fantasy book, send them into ollie@wrestletalk.tv. That's OLI at wrestletalk.tv. I feel sorry for the guy with oil at wrestletalk.tv. Yeah. That seems to be a common spelling mistake. Aaron Jacob says, "Hello, smiley face."
Mm-hmm. That's an emoticon.
Good way to... Yes, because it's a colon and it's a close bracket.
Yes, that's
an emoji would be animated.
That's correct.
Sure. If the Styles versus Nakamura ever happens, we all hope it does, how would you set their rivalry? Thanks, sir.
What a polite
2 exclamation
email.
marks.
That's nice and
brief.
polite.
So, I have my scenario first. I'm going to do mine, and then Luke's going to do his, and then at the end of the video, there's going to be a little I button on that side or this side. Hope that's the top left, so it'll be here. And if you click that, you can choose who you think should win. Now, I have mine as it's SummerSlam. Because this is a long build for me. It's SummerSlam, and AJ Styles is facing Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. It's the first time they've really gone at it because Randy's, of course, got Jinder Mahal. I assume next up he'll have Mojo Rawley. And then it's SummerSlam. Aiden English is going to get in the mix. And then at SummerSlam, AJ Styles, the first proper challenger of Randy Orton, AJ Styles wins the belt back. The face that runs the place is on top again. Then... in the next match... Oh, wait. Is this working? I only came up with this 2 hours ago.
Oh, rubbish. And that is rubbish because you came up with this last week.
So, I can't quite remember. Yeah, so
don't lie. Don't lie to your loyal audience.
Anyway, so Styles wins the WWE title from Randy Orton at SummerSlam, and then Orton turns heel on him in the rematch, which will be at the next pay-per-view, probably Backlash. We'll just assume it's called Backlash,
always
the pay-per-view after SummerSlam. And that's when Orton recaptures the title. So they trade it back and forth. AJ's like, ugh. And Randy Orton's a heel again, which is really what he's best as because...
he doesn't like being a babyface.
Yeah, and he's kind of a heel anyway. He burnt down poor Bray Wyatt's house.
He's a dick.
And then destroyed... the Ashes. That's a pretty dick move, Randy Orton. Maybe that's why he came out on a giant representation of a penis at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Anyway, this builds to Survivor Series where you've got Team Orton, the heels, versus Team AJ.
Mm-hmm.
And
the baby faces.
The baby faces. And AJ wants the belt on the line.
Oh, no.
No?
No, well, I mean, I don't like the belts being on in tag team matches, but...
We'll be a 5-on-5.
It's still a...
Okay, well, maybe I haven't thought this one out. What if...
That's just my personal opinion.
All the titles are on the line.
Vince Russo loves it, but that's just my personal opinion.
So, Randy... maybe the titles should be on the line. I don't know.
That scenario leads to David Arquette winning the title.
Yeah. Anyway, AJ needs a teammate, and he's got whoever his other faces are.
Mojo Rawley,
probably. Jinder Mahal's probably done a few face turns and back and forths by this point. But Shinsuke Nakamura has kind of been working his way through everyone since the epic match at Backlash with Dolph Ziggler. This is, of course, Backlash 3 by now.
Yeah.
After there's been several Backlashes since.
Revenge of the Sith, yeah.
Yeah. And a few great balls of fire. And he's like, Shinsuke, be on my team. And Nakamura, through his mouth guard, because that's how he likes to speak, says, yes, I'll team with you, but I want that. I want a shot at that, AJ. And he's just like, sure, down the line.
Orton's champion, isn't he, by this point? Is Orton champion by this point? You said that he wanted AJ was challenging Orton because he wants the title on the line.
Teams with AJ. Maybe Orton didn't win the title match back. Okay. Something happens. Doesn't matter where the title is in all of this.
No, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter.
The fact is, it's just a fake belt.
The fact is, all that matters is that AJ Styles comes out of the Survivor Series match winning with Nakamura, but you've got the visual at the end where Nakamura's like, now I'm coming for you. So it goes like that and they have the first match at Royal Rumble, and it's face versus face, and they go at it, and it's a really good match, but Nakamura wins at the Royal Rumble match. So Nakamura is now the WWE champion for the first time in his career. It's the first proper belt he's gone for. At Royal Rumble, AJ that night wins the Rumble.
Okay.
So after losing the belt, he's distraught. He goes in, he's number 30. He comes out and he wins the Royal Rumble, setting up AJ versus Nakamura 2 at WrestleMania 34, which Nakamura wins.
Okay.
And it's a really good match. I can't... it wasn't good, that one.
Okay. Am I allowed to go? Sorry.
We should probably do a title card first.
Okay.
Now the title card's gone. Yeah, you can say something.
Thank you, title card. Apologies, viewers. I've got to use my phone for my notes.
I have my notes on this screen down.
I know. I've got to use my phone, unfortunately. So, my gimmick for... You're looking at my cover.
Oh, yeah, what's that?
It's a Proton Pack from Ghostbusters.
Ah, nicely done.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
It's nice.
I am cool. So, the gimmick for my rivalry between AJ and Nakamura is that you keep them apart and they never touch. So,
like Heat with De Niro and
Oh,
Pacino.
I thought you meant Sunday Night Heat.
No. The Michael Mann movie.
Loads of people touched on that. It was usually Kai and Tai. So they have feuds with other people up until SummerSlam, and in the build for SummerSlam, you have a tournament for the to crown the number one contender for the WWE Championship, and AJ and Nakamura are on either side of this tournament. And the whole gimmick of this tournament is that it's building towards, and the commentators are always putting over, we're going to finally see AJ versus Nakamura in the final of this tournament. That's the dream match. That's the match we've all wanted to see. That match doesn't come to fruition because one of them gets knocked out of the tournament.
I like it.
So they don't end up colliding in that tournament. So this then builds up towards Survivor Series, where they're on the same team.
You steal that from me.
Hold on, because in my vision, they're going to do the Raw v SmackDown thing again. So it'll be all the SmackDown guys, all the Raw guys.
Yeah.
So they'll be on the same team regardless. But within that, they develop something more than just the fans want this match. They developed a friendly rivalry. So during that match, maybe AJ will go in and do something spectacular, and he'll point to Nakamura and say, like, top that. Tags in Nak. Nak comes in, he does some stuff, and he's like, does his little thing.
Yeah.
So you build up through that. So that starts now a friendly rivalry between the two. But again, they don't touch, they don't collide. At the Royal Rumble, AJ comes down.
In the match,
AJ comes down, starts cleaning house, beating up a load of guys. Who comes out next but Shinsuke Nakamura? They come down, they face off against each other. It looks like they're finally going to fight, and then two heels come in and knock them both. So throughout that match, again in the Rumble, they don't collide at any point in it, but they tease it every now and again. Both get thrown out, but they both don't touch. At the Elimination Chamber, they are again in that match, and they come face to face. But again, they don't touch, and they both get eliminated by other people.
Wow.
And then essentially it boils up to Shane McMahon says, do you know what? We've tried.
Yeah.
We've been trying so hard to get you guys to fight, but something gets in the way. So finally at WrestleMania, we're going to book, and he calls it the Ultimate Dream Match. And that's how you build the match. It's not just Shinsuke versus AJ. It's the Ultimate Dream Match. It's fantasy warfare come to life, or whatever it is they did for Brock Goldberg. And you do AJ versus Nak at WrestleMania with no title on the line, just the Ultimate Dream Match. And that's what happens when I have time to prepare. I come up with something that's pretty good.
That was good.
Thanks, man.
There's the eye now. The eye should appear now above the head.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just put me as an option. I think that's the only way I'm going to win that. It was real good, man.
Thanks,
God
man.
damn it.
I'm not saying that yours was bad. It's just that I think that you had it down, but you didn't have the... I think you tripped over yourself in a couple of your points.
I think mine would have been a lot better if I knew where the title was. I kind of got confused about who had the belt.
Yeah.
And you're right. As soon as I said it out loud, I was like, the title shouldn't be on the line in a Survivor Series match.
Yeah. My other thing with that as well is that it's with your booking of the title hot potato is a bit too much for me.
I don't mind that sometimes.
It's a fake belt.
Sometimes a bit of hot potato is okay. Randy Orton would have had it since WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then the face wins it and he drops it back.
Yeah.
Well, not drops it back, but it's cheated out of it in the rematch. So yes, damn it. Well, vote there, and that's all we've got time for, I'm afraid. So click the videos to the left to catch up with the latest WrestleRamble, which includes our reviews of Raw, SmackDown, and Payback, and of course, catch up with the latest WrestleTalk news. I've been Oli Davis. This is Luke Owen. Why do I always forget my name in these things? And that was Rambling.